Thanks for joining us today. Today we are down on the ground and we're going to explore the world of planks, how to do them properly. We're going to offer 3 very basic variations. There's 150 bazillion combinations of how to do planks. The purpose of today's session is to explore how to do a basic plank properly. Once you master the basics, then you can elaborate and make things more challenging, and that's kind of the art of fatiguing faster and progressing. It's not always doing an exercise longer and longer. It's making that exercise more functional, more challenging, perhaps adding weights. So we're going to cover the basics today and how to do a plank effectively. As I am working core muscle groups, forgive me if I sound a little winded and louder throughout the course of the session. Planks are about destabilization, and one very common myth or mistake when we're using a vibration machine that's got all this G-force is we think we need to go 150,000 miles an hour to accomplish more muscle activation. When you're doing things like planks, there's only certain body parts, your hands, your feet, perhaps in contact with the platform. And the rest of your body, the art of a plank is destabilizing and involving more muscle groups to keep you stable in that position. So in that range, on a pivotal platform, we want to be working, starting off the easiest way with our feet on the platform, and we're going to use slow destabilizing frequencies. I'm going to get this machine going. I'm going to suggest 6 to 11 hertz. If you're using a vertical platform, keep that in that lower setting range, 30 to 35 hertz. So all we're going to do, if you do not do planks on the floor regularly, adding any exercise to a vibration machine is going to make it harder. It's going to offer more challenge. So if you're not doing planks on the floor now, you may need to do a few modifications to make the exercise easy. The easiest way to start with a plank, we're going to work with just a little pad here because I'm going to get on my knees. Take some of the body weight out of the equation. A basic plank on the ground, we would be on our toes, but this is kind of about half to 3/4 of your body weight. So if you're able to do this, and this isn't too terribly challenging, let's go more traditional. Again, we're at a low setting range, 6 to 10, 6 to 11 hertz. Notice my feet or my amplitude displacement is wide. We're destabilizing the core, we're rocking and rolling those hips, and we want our feet in a wide position. If you bring your feet closer to the center, you're going to feel there's a little more challenge on the balance. If you're doing some one-legged planks, you might find bringing your foot placement a little bit closer and widening as you become more stable in the core. So that's a very basic way to start a plank. To take a breath, a lot of us are going to be saying, well, why aren't you doing it on the machine? I'm personally not a big fan of putting forearms on the machine. Unless you are strong or padding up the machine, there tends to be excessive head and shoulder movement. And as a woman, we all tend to carry stress, the bra, the purse. So if the technique isn't there and you're not doing good planks now, I recommend starting with this first variation with your feet on the machine and your upper body on the ground. For those of you that do work out more regularly and want to do it that way, put a pad on, but I would suggest get more bang for your buck. Bring those frequencies up maybe to the 12 to 16 hertz range and do something that looks more like a push-up. We've done upper body exercise videos, but a push-up is a plank. Okay, you could do some dynamic movement. Again, there's a bazillion variations you could modify here. If you do want to put your forearms on it, sometimes from a therapeutic standpoint, this is nice. There's not a lot of body weight in the equation. But you want to make sure that you're just doing this on a slow frequency. Those elbows are padded. And get your shoulder and your elbow more in line with each other. If you're back here and your head is right above where your elbows are, you're going to get a lot more movement in the head and the neck. And you're going to not be paying attention to the rest of your form. So if you do want to do it more like a push-up style, you can add some dynamic movement. You could even, if you're a more conditioned vibration machine user, you could even bring it up to a higher frequency, that 18 to 22, more of the training ranges. I want to cover one more variation for the basic plank. We started on the ground. Many of us may be suffering with back issues. Maybe we just sit in a desk all day and our core is very, very weak and we don't want to cause issues with our back. The machine's not going to cause issues, but sometimes if your technique isn't there, you might be doing an exercise incorrectly. And with something like planks, we're spreading our body weight out, gravity's pushing down on us, and we're encompassing a lot of muscle groups. So sometimes an easier way to start is a bit of a modified bridge. And I would recommend, I don't recommend shoes on a machine very often, but this is a good exercise just to give your heels a little padding, because we're going to put the heels on the machine. I'm going to use a mat. You could put on some shoes. We're just going to put the heels on the machine. Again, if you're just starting out, maybe start with the calves on the machine. Put those forearms on the ground and simply lift. You're looking straight up at the ceiling. You want to have a nice straight spine, or as much as you can. If you feel like you're falling this way, maybe modify where your arm placement is. Okay? Lift and hold. You could do some slow dynamic movement. But this way, if you are dealing with a low or a low back or tension in the low back issues, you're not wrenching the back. The only place you're going to fall is with your butt down to the floor. Once you get comfortable with that and your durations are getting up there, try reversing to the opposite, the first position we started with. The next one on this one would be progressing more body weight. So this is where you'll notice if you are putting your heels on the platform, you're going to want to pad it up a little bit. Same thing, you'll feel that additional increase in your own body weight. Lift. You do your dynamic movements. Okay? And again, just add a little bit of a mat, or you could wear your shoes on that one just to give your heel a little bit of a cushion. Wide feet. This is all about slow frequencies and destabilizing and forcing the core to stabilize and strengthen itself. Now, the last variation I want to talk about is side planks. There's another bazillion options in the side plank world. I'm going to cover just more about the foot placement on the machine. Again, if you're doing side planks with your arm on the machine, there's a bazillion variations. You may want to mat it up. Trick with upper body on your side with a plank. Your elbow is your point of contact on a vibration platform. So on your vertical, it's a high-low thing. But on the pivotal style platform, start with your elbow towards the center of the platform. That's going to be the minimal amount of movement. Bring yourself up. If you're just starting out, widen up your foot placement. So you notice how I've spread my feet. Put your under leg forward and your top leg backwards, and lift those hips if you're not strong enough to do it with one leg on top of the other. Okay, if you're looking more like this, you may want to widen up and distribute your weight differently and start this way. Okay, if you have more strength in the upper body and this is a little less challenging than you'd like it to be, you can start widening and bring that elbow towards the edge of the machine to get more movement, and you'll feel that change, and you'll hear the difference in my voice as I'm up here. Okay, the other way to do a side plank, if you are not doing them regularly, and in that position you may want to prop your feet up. Your body's kind of going downhill, so it's not as challenging. Maybe you've got shoulder issues and those aren't your type of thing. So we're going to show you the opposite variation, where we're starting with the upper body on the ground, legs on the machine. Pardon, you'll want your mat on the machine for this one. You're going to get the outer edges, those sticky outy bones on your ankles. You'll want to pad this up. Okay. Start with your feet. Again, that lower leg you want in the front position, the top leg in the back position, wide like a V, and lift. Okay? You want a nice straight spine. Whatever variations you would normally do. Do some dips. Okay? The progression would be a little less stable. Put one foot on top of the other. You're completely laying on your side, and we're going to lift. And again, whatever variations. Okay? If you're a little stronger, you may want to come up onto your, woo! This one takes a little bit more wobble. Okay? Bend that elbow. If you aren't particularly strong in the upper body, sometimes you're still getting exercise. You're still exercising your upper body on the ground, but if you're not as strong as you'd like to be, sometimes the upper body is going to fatigue on the machine quicker than the abs and the lower body. Legs, ladies, we can do legs all day long. So I would suggest, if you're not doing planks on the ground now, start with some of the variations I've suggested. Reduce your body weight. Practice on the floor if you don't have a vibration machine right now. So until you progress, and then when you do have an environment like a vibration machine that increases the effectiveness of that exercise, it's going to reduce the time. But the better your technique in any one given exercise, the more effective and the better results you're going to see out of your machine. So again, it's not about going 100 miles an hour. Planks are a destabilization exercise. Finish off with some massage or some cellulite applications and those higher frequencies if you want to give yourself a little bit more on the toning side in addition to your planks. Okay.